Nobody in life gets exactly what they thought they were going to get.
Conan O'Brien!
What are the steps to becoming a wildly popular talk show host?
Conan O'Brien!
It really comes from finding myself very flawed.
No self-esteem, have a rough time in high school.
Conan O'Brien!
Yeah, I just think basic experience with fundamental pain and self-hate at an early age. And you know what's really cool? I'm kind of not kidding.
Conan O'Brien!
Identify yourself to the universe.
All right, let me tell you who I am. My name is Conan O'Brien. Can you say that?
Conan O'Brien.
I'm 6'4". I'm 200 pounds. Say king of late night.
King of late night.
That's right, that sounds terrific. I displace 180 kiloliters of liquid. I have a talk show in America. I'm on television, and I'm very, very famous in America. Big star. What kind of crappy show is this? If I start thinking about the 900 people watching at home, I inspire hate in a lot of people, Dave. It's just a charm I have. That would freak me out.
That's not even nice to yourself.
What? I'm self-deprecating wit. I've built a whole empire on it. Yeah. Self-deprecating, that's my name. I'm an ass.
Let me ask you, as you do your self-deprecating humor, where did that come from? Has it always been?
Yeah,
why?
It's built in. I could not fake that. I've been accused over the years of, oh, you're self-deprecating and that's your act. And I was like, it really comes from finding myself, very flawed. I think that's at the root of Catholicism, is we're just flawed. I grew up just, having a very dark self-view in a lot of ways. I came from a really big family, still do, and I'm in the middle of 6. And I remember thinking, girls don't seem that interested. I'm living in Brookline, Massachusetts. My, dad's a scientist. My mom's a lawyer. There's nobody. There was no show business around.
Right. Hi, I'm Conan O'Brien, and here we are with Kate O'Brien, the softball star. Hey, Kate, how you doing?
And I didn't like the way I looked. So I had bright orange hair, freckles. I have very low self-esteem, so I always feel intense pressure. I'm highly self-critical. And I've had therapy, but there's one thing where I've put all my chips, which is being funny. And if someone says, yeah, I didn't like it, it physically hurts. And it always has, and it probably always will. One thing everybody knows about me is that I went to Harvard, and I worked really hard in high school to go there. I was interested in going to a good college. I think I was an anxious kid. I was, it's not a glamorous, I was not the class clown. I was funny for my friends, but quiet in the classroom. And I always took things very seriously, got very down on myself, and went into kind of a dark place. And then the flip side of that would be comedy was my escape. Comedy was the way that I would burst out of that. I remember getting interested in comedy. I was always interested in comedy, but finding an outlet for it there. The Harvard Lampoon within Harvard, and that is the country's oldest humor magazine, started in 1876. And when I was there, I fell into that organization. By the time I got out of college, I said, I just need to keep doing this. So I went out to Los Angeles and started writing, and I wrote for a few shows out in LA. And then we got our big break, which was Saturday Night Live.
What a
Hey, watch out, Mr. Hanks. This horse bites everyone.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
That was a high-pressure, high-octane environment.
Hey, Peters looks great today.
And you sink or swim.
Well, I just completed your course. I never dreamed I could be this handsome. Thanks, Lank. You're handsome.
Fortunately, we were able to swim. Did that for 3 seasons. Then I went to The Simpsons in Los Angeles and did that.
The name's Lanley, Lyle Lanley.
The thing I get, maybe people ask me about the most is this episode of The Simpsons I wrote, the monorail episode.
I give you the Springfield Monorail.
And The Simpsons was perfect for me because my episodes are like the monorail episode is one of my favorite episodes that I wrote, but very out there kind of silliness and very visual and music. And that was a great outlet for me.
He wants out!
I was working on The Simpsons and then for a couple seasons, and then I went to audition for this late night show thinking I'll never get this. I'm a writer on The Simpsons. And then tragically got it. Thank you very much. And that's how it felt at the time, like, oh shit.
You know what crushes momentum? A dodgy looking link. First impressions matter, which is why in reality, I use a .store domain. I mean, come on, look how gorgeous that is. .store is a domain name just like .com, but a more meaningful one, telling the world it's a store. There's no confusion, no doubt, and that's why top creators use a .store domain name for their merch brands. It just fits. And as a creator who cares about detail, my .store domain reflects how I see my brand. Clean and clear. It's something you guys can trust and remember. And not only does a .store domain prevent confusion, it's also proven to get more eyes, more clicks, and even more sales, because the community knows what to expect. So if you're a creator selling merch or thinking of starting, your brand deserves the most OP domain name. Lock in yours by heading to the link in the description.
In 1993, when I was chosen to replace David Letterman, people thought it was a batshit crazy, stupid idea.
Last April, NBC rocked the entertainment world by picking an unknown comic and writer to replace David Letterman.
The question is, will Conan O'Brien be as funny as David Letterman?
A lot of pressure on this guy.
A whole lot of pressure. He has the network riding on his shoulders.
For NBC, it's a big risk.
You better be as good as Letterman,
Oh, good luck. A lot of pressure.
or else.
You better be as good as Letterman.
This is a franchise for them, and
God, I hope you're good.
this is a serious move for them.
A lot of pressure.
Relatively unknown?
Sir, I'm completely unknown. Lorne Michaels at Saturday Night Live said, he said, I think that guy. And NBC said, the writer with the weird hair.
I'm, honored that they're taking, that risk with me.
Trust me, he's got something.
You're on, Mr. O'Brien.
I'm Conan O'Brien. Watch my first show Monday with John Goodman and Drew Barrymore.
Conan O'Brien debuts on the late night show after Jay Leno's. That's tomorrow night.
And don't worry, that ticking sound will be gone by then. I mean, you do hear it, don't you?
Conan O'Brien!
Well, I've been in show business now 45 seconds, and this is the nicest reception I ever had. Thank you very much. Calm yourselves. We have to be professional now. We can't act like guys that are too young to be on TV. And then I did Charlie Rose's show when he went. We were probably aware of what came out in the Washington Post today. The top TV critic in the world just wrote this piece, and here's what it says.
This is a piece by Tom Shields, I think, saying, look, it's not working for him as a critic. Does it bother you?
And it was a brutal takedown, just absolutely brutal takedown of me, Andy, the comedy, everything.
You must have been so depressed because people were attacking you for trying to make them laugh.
Something's really wrong. There were, some really, really dark moments.
We'll be right back with more Conrad.
It's Conan.
Oh, yeah.
Late Night with Conan O'Brien. He still has a few weeks.
Late Night with Conan O'Brien, it's only an hour. How bad could it really be?
Now, we're reading in the paper that you're going to get fired.
In all fairness, they've been saying this. I've been living this, I've been hearing this constantly for a year and a half. So now I just have an immunity. So you think I have a shot?
I believe you just got to plug away. Ignore what everyone tells you. Just keep sticking to it, and it will succeed. Do you understand?
Well, you've encouraged me. I feel good now. I remembered my dad at the time said a really smart thing. He said, if you can survive this, it's going to make the whole story that much better.
What's the matter with you? I'm a guest
And what happens when you inherit a show is you have to go through this period of sort of course correction where you're... You have to go through a lot of effort. You like, huh? To sort of transmogrify it into your show. In the early days, we had a mission, which was on a late night show. I didn't want to do anything. I wanted it to be a completely different show from what David Letterman had done.
But the more I watch the show, I realize you guys do an incredible amount of comedy and stuff that is produced that is a very high level. And the volume and the quality of the stuff just knocks me out. And I think you've really done a great job to carve out a wonderful identity for yourselves. And that there's nothing like this show anywhere on television. And I really, really appreciate that. I think you did a nice job.
Oh, thank you.
He maybe
having something like that to overcome, not that it's that big a deal to overcome one of my lousy reviews.
Yeah.
Maybe it helped you reach the greatness that you've attained.
I'm still on at 12:30. 10 years later, what the hell happened? For decades in show business, the ultimate goal of every comedian was to host The Tonight Show. It was the holy grail. And like many people, I thought that achieving that goal would define me as successful. But that is not true.
Let's start in 2004. 2004, I'm sitting in my office, an NBC executive comes in and says to me, listen, Conan O'Brien has gotten offers from other networks.
I remember there was a point where Fox TV came to you and said, we're going to give you $28 million to jump over to Fox.
And we don't want him to go, so we're going to give him The Tonight Show.
NBC heard about it. They said to you, well, we're going to give you $8 million, but we're going to give you The Tonight Show when Jay retires.
I want to elaborate on an announcement made earlier today. You may have heard about this, that I'm going to leave the show in 2009.
And I said, well, I've been number one for 12 years. They said, we know that, but we don't think you can sustain that.
NBC said, listen, we want to keep Jay on. We want you to be the 11:30 host. What we'll do is we'll make a deal in 5 years. We'll give you The Tonight Show.
And I said, we think Conan would be a good replacement, as I do. Conan is a gentleman, funny, the hottest late night guy out there, excellent.
And Conan now has to make a decision. Should I go to ABC at 11:30 or stay here and wait and be a good soldier and take The Tonight Show at the end of it?
This show is like a dynasty. You hold it, and then you hand it off to the next person. And I don't want to see all the fighting and who's better and nasty things back and forth in the press.
And he said, okay, I'll stay and wait. And then when he put in his 5 years.
So right now, here it is. Conan, it's yours. See you in 5 years, buddy. Okay, clear enough?
They broke the deal.
The Tonight Show under Jay Leno has been a powerhouse. His success turned into success for us. I owe that man a great deal. I don't know what I did to deserve the opportunity to do this. There are people that have hosted these kinds of shows who are, I'm sure, better than I am. Nobody has ever enjoyed it more than I do. It's an incredible, amazing honor to do this program for you people.
I just want to say I couldn't be happier. You were the only choice. You were the perfect choice.
And I want to say something about, we're going on to this next gig, and sometimes I read that it's time for Conan to grow up because he's going to 11:30, and I assure you, that's just not going to happen.
You have been an absolute gentleman in private and in the press. I agree. Conan rocks. Good luck next week, my friend.
Jay, thank you for everything.
And so begins a new chapter in The Tonight Show's 55-year history.
A new tradition begins today right here at NBC when The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien. That's right, Conan O'Brien.
In just about 20 minutes from now, Conan O'Brien will become the 5th host of The Tonight Show.
Fans came out from across the country to witness what could be the start of another decades-long run for the show's 5th host.
After spending 3 months off the airwaves, Conan should be rested and raring to go.
The rules don't change. Just make sure the show is funny, and the rest should take care of itself.
He's an awfully nice guy.
He is.
He's a great guy, as is Jay Leno. It's so nice that they were able to do this transfer of power so peacefully.
The premiere of The Tonight Show with
Conan O'Brien's first night as host of The Tonight Show was a good one for NBC. His show beat Letterman and Nightline combined.
I think Conan is a savvy enough guy that knows that the audience at 11:30 is not quite as young and maybe a little bit more down the middle.
He'll be keeping some of what worked from his old show, but he says you can expect a whole new Conan in the new time slot.
Television is a brutal business, and he did not put up the numbers.
He thought that Conan O'Brien appealed to a younger audience and was a hip guy, and they thought that would broaden the appeal of The Tonight Show, particularly to a younger audience that was more internet savvy, etc.
And then NBC realizes, hey, you know what? That demographic for The Tonight Show is older, and they liked Leno more. And they didn't quite get used to Conan.
Younger viewers love this guy, but the traditional Tonight Show audience didn't take to his goofy skits.
Leno's replacement, Conan O'Brien, was supposed to lead the legendary Tonight Show into a new decade of glory, but instead he stumbled, losing half of Leno's former audience.
It hasn't worked out so far.
So if you bring Leno back to his old slot, well, it's pretty much a guaranteed winner.
Now, you have to give time to these things, but apparently they're not going to give it time.
Piece of tape. I was on your TV show in 2006, and they had just announced that you were going to be the Tonight Show replacement for Jay when Jay retired.
And then I read in the paper that Conan is going to replace Jay Leno. Thank God. Do I think what? Do you think that's really going to happen?
I was half being funny, but also I said, it's going to go horribly wrong.
I don't see this guy leaving and letting you walk in. And I'm concerned about you.
Yeah. When your time comes, Jay will fucking not let you have that show.
But the network suits wanted to keep the still popular Jay Leno. So they had an idea. Create a new primetime talk show for Jay Leno at 10 p.m.
The Jay Leno Show, this week, 10/9 Central on NBC.
But the experiment failed. Critics panned Leno's show and the ratings went way down. And Conan's Tonight Show ratings were disappointing as well. So they came up with another idea. Push the whole lineup later.
The Jay Leno Show will move from its coveted 10 p.m. time slot to Leno's original 11:35 p.m. time beginning February 12th, and will only be a half hour.
So Jay Leno's show would go on in the Tonight Show slot, and the Tonight Show would follow at 12:05 a.m.
Well, NBC is announcing major changes to its late night lineup today. It all starts with a new time slot for the Jay Leno Show, and then the dominoes fall from there.
I mean, look, if I'm Conan O'Brien, I'm a little angry about this.
He said in a statement, quote, "The Tonight Show at 12:05 simply isn't The Tonight Show."
He waited 5 years to take over this prime real estate at 11:30 and now to be evicted by the very guy he replaced.
I mean, Conan O'Brien's going to bolt. Why should he stay? He's humiliated.
I didn't want to be the first Tonight Show host to take the Tonight Show into the next day. So I said that didn't really work for me.
After days of negotiation and weeks of speculation, it is now official. NBC is confirming this morning that the network and Conan O'Brien have reached a deal.
When Conan O'Brien, the newly installed host of The Tonight Show, quit after the network announced it was going to push The Tonight Show into tomorrow. It triggered a lot of bad publicity for NBC, an outpouring of public support for Conan, and some of the best late-night jokes in a decade.
You can do anything you want in life. Yeah, unless Jay Leno wants to do it too.
Fans have even organized Save Coco rounds and vow to follow him wherever he ends up.
This massive outpouring of support and passion from so many people has been overwhelming for me.
Jay didn't sit there and this didn't happen to Jay.
My name is Jay Leno, and let it hereby be known that I'm taking over all the shows in late night.
He made this happen. He took Conan's job.
We've had a lot of fun being here these last 7 months, but like everything in life, the fun has to come to an end a decade too early. And I think
O'Brien said he has no offers and no idea what he will do next.
Please do not be cynical. I hate cynicism. For the record, it's my least favorite quality. It doesn't lead anywhere. Nobody in life gets exactly what they thought they were going to get. But if you work really hard and you're kind, amazing things will happen. I'm telling you, amazing things will happen.
You must have been miserable the last couple of months. I went through some stuff, and I got very depressed at times. You know, it was like a marriage breaking up suddenly, violently, quickly, and I was just trying to figure out what happened.
The amount of stuff that's happened in my life in the last year is, it's going to take me a long time to process it. We started putting this tour together. I started to feel better almost immediately.
This is a cool opportunity for me. This is my opportunity to tell you who I am, how I grew up, and how I came to be. Do you want to hear this story? It's a pretty good story. You do? Let's have some music.
O'Brien is taking his act on the road. The former host of The Tonight Show announced a 30-city international tour, the legally prohibited from being funny on television tour.
You know, the whole point of this tour was let's have some fun.
Okay, so you're heartbroken.
If there's ever been a time in my life to just say,
You sit around hoping.
to hell with it, it's now.
Cry.
There's like an elation to this, you know?
You say you're even thinking about
So the last 3.5 months have been the most interesting time in my entire career, which is coming out of the utter despair of what happened. I wouldn't have traded this for anything in the world.
Last month, Conan finally pulled the trigger on his future. Raising some eyebrows by signing on to do an 11 o'clock show for the cable channel PBS, and not with a broadcast network.
I made a decision to come to TBS. At the time, people were really surprised that I did that. They didn't think that would be the move. I did it for one reason. A guy named Steve Conan came to me. He said, I will protect you. I will let you and your people do whatever you want. I'll never interfere, and we'll support you 100%.
You have a bird on your...
They did that. They did that in every single way. They never went back on their word.
Please, we don't know how much time I'm gonna get here, all right? That lasted longer than my last job.
The people at TBS were remarkable. None of this would have happened. I'd have gone away a long time ago if it weren't for them.
People ask me why I named the show Conan. I did it so I'd be harder to replace.
It was announced today, just a couple of hours ago, that Jimmy Fallon is going to take over The Tonight Show next year. And I want to congratulate Jimmy. That is a really fun gig. He is going to do a It is. It's a really fun gig.
I'm Jimmy Fallon, and I'll be your host for now.
Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show is fun, but likely doomed.
Does anyone actually watch late night TV anymore?
I do think late night is dying. And I think the traditional format...
The TV is dying. It's going the same way the radio went.
The way we've come to know it as like an American institution for the last 50 years, 60 years.
Ratings for every single late night show over the last decade have pretty much been tanking.
I think it's over.
No one cares about it anymore.
I feel like we're in late night limbo, and it feels like something that was once an institution in American entertainment.
That's mine.
Ape.
Yeah,
We debuted.
it's really cool. Like the hat, the shades.
Is now just like a side thing that happens on the internet.
I'll be launching a podcast in November called Conan O'Brien Meets a Friend. This is real, all right? I already started taking the podcast. I'm having a lot of fun. I think you're going to enjoy it.
I wrapped up my late night show a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I think. I'm so grateful to all my staff and the fans in this country and around the world who have joined me in this really crazy and seemingly pointless pursuit. And I just decided I loved doing it. It was a dream. I got to do exactly what I wanted to do for a long time. And when it ended, I was done. My advice to anyone watching right now, and it's not easy to do. It is not easy to do. It's not easy to do, but try and do what you love with people you love. And if you can manage that, it's the definition of heaven on earth. I swear to God, it really is. So good night. Thank you very much. But now I want to just try things that scare me. If it scares me, I think I should do it. So I shot myself in the leg. There's some big news out there. Would you like to tell us what it is, Sona?
Well, you've been tapped to host the Oscars in 2025, which is a really big deal. It's really cool.
Please welcome the host of the 67th Annual Academy Awards, Conan O'Brien.
I just want to enjoy it. And I think it would be a shame to get the chance to host the Oscars and not have a good time. I come from a big family, but I got to give a big shout out to my parents who I think raised me right. I love you, Mom and Dad. And
Conan O'Brien is mourning the loss of both of his parents.
Within days of each other.
They'll see this, I think, 3 months from now. They don't know how the internet works.
Dr. Thomas O'Brien died Monday at age 95. His wife Ruth died yesterday at 92. The two lived in Brookline. Dr. O'Brien was...
I love them dearly, and what are you going to say? They're just amazing people.
LA is on fire.
Thousands of homes destroyed, damage estimates in the billions. But
the first chance that we're actually kind of getting a look at that real devastation when they keep saying.
Just, again, you have no words on how to describe this.
Medium to heavy brush with about a 40-mile-an-hour wind.
Killed and more than 100,000 are now under evacuation orders.
How would you assess the mood as you see it right now? This town has been through a very painful thing.
The word I would use is fragile. This is something that touched everybody, regardless of your income.
Conan was one of those touched, forced to evacuate his LA home.
I was meeting with writers and we were talking about the Oscars and we were working on that with that team. And I got a phone call from my wife saying, well, there's some smoke. And then the next thing I know, she was like, we've been evacuated. I went to sleep that night thinking, because we live in the Palisades. And I just remembered thinking, I'm pretty sure that our house will go. And it did not. But just the number of people I've heard from, people I know personally who lost houses, is stunning. I'm the poster boy for luck in show business, but I also think I've been dealt cards at times which aren't the best, and I'm proud of the way I played them. In '93, when I replaced David Letterman from Complete Obscurity, I got myself into a situation, and I was very aware that, man, this is a fucking serious situation I'm in, and the only way out was to survive it. I remembered my dad at the time said a really smart thing. He said, if you can survive this, it's going to make the whole story that much better.
This is very exciting. Hello, I'm your host, Conan O'Brien.
The Oscars this year felt like a breath of fresh air, a return to form, you might say. And that starts with the host, Conan O'Brien, who did, unsurprisingly, a really great job.
Now this year, they've rolled the dice with Conan O'Brien. And spoiler warning, he kicked ass.
But it's the Oscars, and I say, let's do this thing. You ready to go? I am.
The Emmy-winning TV and podcast legend is getting a massive comedy honor. He is this year's recipient of the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor.
I get to this point, and I've had these famous highs and lows and highs, and I wouldn't change anything. My great education in my life has been stumbling around, making mistakes in the real world, humiliating myself, having some things go well, some things go terribly. I do not regret anything, but I think things happen for a reason. I really do. This is the best job in the world. I absolutely love doing it. I have devoted all of my adult life, all of it, to pursuing this strange phantom intersection between smart and stupid. And I have the best staff and crew in the history of the media.
Rick Rosen, Gavin Pallone, Libra King, our Jefe, Jeff Ross. Mr. Matt O'Brien.
My trusted assistant, Sona Posesnia. I'm absolutely terrified of not making an audience happy. I think comedy's too hard. I really do. I think it's too hard to I hang my self-esteem on each moment of it sometimes, and I think you can't do that. Imposter syndrome is quite common, and I just like to be really honest about the fact that it never quite goes away. You're always hoping, is this good enough? Was that okay? Could this be better? And I think trying to figure all that out has taken me a long time. Marrying the right person really helped. Having great kids and, getting some help really helped. I'm very vocal about that. I was as far from show business as you could be, living in Brookline, Massachusetts. There was no show business around.
Still, either way, I became